So in last class, like we are discussing about how to, audit the records, right? So like how to capture the last inserted date information, to have a proper attention on data warehouse loading, right? So it's a kind of auditing. Okay, so this auditing like we can achieve in SSIS with the predefined task as well. Okay, so we have one task called audit transformation. Okay, let us see how to work with that. Let me open the solution. I'll take one package. I'll rename it. So in the control flow we have this big flow. Let me remove all this. So I'll take one data flow task. Open and configure the things. Stuck. So in real time, like having this audit is very much important. Okay, so when the load has been happened and how many records came into the data warehouse, and when this load was run by which user, okay, from which machine this load has been executed. So everything we can capture. Okay, so 1 second. There was some issue with the SSIS here. That's why it all this. Get a data flow task. So let me take one source. So this is what my source. I will configure this. I will take one table. So it will be better. Let's say employee again. Columns. These many columns we are having. Click on OK. Here in the left side transformation span, you can pick that audit transformation. So get that audit transformation into your workspace and give the connection from source to your audit transformation. Okay, so double click on that to configure the audit transformation. Here we will have many audit types. What you want to go for audit? Okay, here when you click on the drop down, there you can see many things. Okay, execution instance ID. Okay, so for every package, like you will get an ID. So you want to capture that ID or else package ID. Okay, so package name, so version name. Okay, when this execution has been started. Okay, so from which machine it has been executed. Okay, so it will capture the machine. Why? Because capturing the machine in the sense in real time, like we have different environments, and for each environment we will have a different machine in the sense like a different servers. Okay, so from which machine it has been executed. Okay, so that if the end of the day, if you face any kind of issues or else if there any kind of errors, so they will come to know who this package was run by particular person, and from this package, I mean from this machine they have been executed. So we got this type of data or else this type of errors. So likewise, we will come to know username in the sense like at the time of login to the system, like we used to give the credentials, right? So login, username and password. So it will capture that username. So that end of the day we'll come to know this user has been, I mean this package was run by this particular user credentials. Okay, it may be or some other may use your credentials, but end of the day you'll come to know, yes, these credentials they have used to execute this particular package. Okay, task name or else task ID. Task in the sense like we have many tasks inside of a package, right? So you want to capture the task name or else task ID, everything we can capture. Okay, so let's say if I take execution start time, so I'm just giving the rename, I mean giving the output column name as execution start time. I want to capture this execution start time. Okay, and I will take the username as well. Okay, so username I give that name as is username. Okay, so click on OK. Take one destination. Populate the data to your destination. Open the destination and just configure your destination. So I will take this database training target underscore training connection. So I will take a new table. So don't have any table. Okay, so if you observe here, up to modified time, we are getting all these columns from the source itself. But coming to the execution start time and username, we are getting these two from audit transformation. Okay, so why? Because we won't get these columns from the source system. Okay, so end of the day, when you are loading the data, or else whoever is loading the data, they want to capture the information, so we will get using the audit transformation. Okay, so click on OK, go to map all the columns. Yes, all the columns get mapped perfectly. Execute this, save this and execute. So here you are nothing to worry about creating a new column to the database destination, or else picking up some username and mapping something. Okay, like that. So let me stop this. Go back to SSMS where we can check our data. Come to the database. Go to the databases. Your training database. Query. Employee auditing 10th July. Okay, so these are all the columns that we are getting from the source itself, and this is what the execution start time. See, it is given with the timestamp as well. Okay, when this particular execution happened, exact timestamp as well, and the username. What is the username that you are trying to connect with that particular database? Okay, so execution start time and execution, I mean the user that who has executed the package. Okay, so you need not to worry about creating all the columns basically. Okay, so you can achieve that by writing the Java code as well, but it is pretty much difficult to write some code Java code and pick the username from the system, or else pick the start time every time for every record and all. So it's pretty much difficult. But in SSIS, we are achieving through a simple task, which is a predefined task. All what we are doing is we are just using that particular existing task. Okay, so as per our requirement. Okay, so our requirement, what we thought is like we want to pick only two columns, execution start time and username. Okay, so all these are all the predefined variables, whatever available over here is. So these are all the predefined variables, and the system itself like providing to capture the all these things. Okay, so likewise you can work with art transformation. So in real time, like they may ask you to use the audit transformation, or else in some cases like simply go with the derived column. So like derived column in the sense like you may already using the derived column transformation in between the source and destination. Okay, so again taking instead of taking one more transformation for audit, so they ask you to create one more column in the derived column transformation and pick the last inserted date into the destination. So in that case, you can feel comfort with the derived column transformation. Okay, so if in some cases like if they didn't tell anything for you, like you can go with the audit transformation. Okay, so audit transformation is nothing to worry, like no need to create any column, or else if you take a derived column transformation, instead of that you may need to write some expression or something, but here no need to write expressions or anything over here. See, all you can use all the transformations. All the available columns, available variables. So just pick that variable and give a column name and use that. Okay, so likewise you can work with audit transformation that to audit the data. Okay, so once again I'm telling like it's pretty much important to capture audit information for a particular record. Okay, so two records may enter in different loadings. Different loading in the sense today you have loaded the data. Okay, so the record comes into the data warehouse. Again tomorrow also you have loaded the data. Again the same record may come into the data warehouse. But in data warehouse you are seeing two records. Okay, for one particular ID, for one particular employee ID, you are getting two records. You don't know the reason, but you will come to know something like if you have audit transformation or else audit information, you will come to know something. Yes, these particular records, uh, I mean like came into the data warehouse for different executions, not in a single execution. For different executions, we got this data. How will you come to know? Like by looking at the inserted date, last execution start time or else last inserted date. Okay, so like that means like you are getting some duplicate data. So based on that, whatever the what we call whatever the precaution that you need to take, you can take at the time of execution every time. Okay, so let me close this. Today we will discuss one more thing. As of now, we are loading the data from database table to database table. Okay, and in between, if required, we are going for any kind of transformations. Okay, so let's try to load the data from database table to a flat file destination. How it works. Okay, so this is what very rare requirement. Okay, loading the data from source to a flat file destination. But end of the day, we have to know like how to load the data into destination. I mean flat files as well. Okay, so let me remove. I will rename my package or else my task as. Okay, so flat file in the sense like it might be notepad. Okay, so in technical terms, or else in warehousing terminology, we call this one as a flat file. Open the data flow task. What happened? So I will create data flow task. Pick the data flow task. I will rename this one as load employee flat file. Open that. Take the sports. Take the flat file destination. Flat file destination. Pick the flat file destination. Configure your source. Okay. Some product subcategory something. Go to the columns. You are getting all these columns from source to straight away you can give for flat file destinations. Open the flat file destination. So do we have any flat file connection over here? No. So open that, give the connection. As of now you don't have any connection. So go for a new, click on new. Here it is asking for what is the format that you are having. You want to go for a delimited or else you want to have some fixed width. Okay, so something like, so I will go for delimitation. That means columns should be delimited by a separate columns will be separated by some special character or something. Okay, so flat file connection manager name I will give you as FFEMP. Okay, so it should be like a meaningful name. So go for the file. I will create one file over here. FFEMP as my flat file. Open that. Okay, so here you can observe two things. So one is header row delimiter. That means like enter this how to differ the header and the data. Okay, so the first line it will treat as a header. Okay, column names in the first data row, and once after heading, so how you the data will start reading. Okay, so once after means like you will come to know, so end of the header, straight away your eyes will come to the next line. Okay, so this is like nothing but the next line character. Go to columns. These are all the columns that you are getting, that automatically created by the system itself. Just click on OK. Go to mappings. Okay, give the mapping. Since the columns has been automatically what we call, they haven't mapped. Why? Because the names are different. Okay, so you need to take care of these things. As of now, like these columns has been automatically mapped by the system itself. Why? Because we are getting the same names. Just click on OK. Save that. Try to execute. Let us see what will happen. 37 rows we got. See, go back. Yes, this is what our file. This much stuff. This is the data that we got. Okay, so some data. This is what the first row, which is for headers, and from the second row, that is what the data. Okay, so this is what the array requirement, loading the data into destinations. Okay, flat file destinations. So similarly, we can capture the data from flat file to some table. Okay, so let me take one more data flow task. SRC source. Let me remove this. Stopping every time. And this. Let me remove this. So go to the sources, pick the flat file source. So you just need to know what the data we are loading and where we are loading. That's it, only two things. So everything will be taken care by SSIS, configurations and all, like just we have to do. The data loading part will be taken care of by SSIS. So these are all the columns available in that flat file. Go to the destination. Okay. So I will load the data into some other database. So I will create a table. See, it is giving columns like column 0, column 1 like that. Why? Because the source itself is having the names like that. So let's go for giving the proper names by looking at the source data. Assume like first one is source ID. First one is serial number. Let us take that one as serial number. Second one is some product ID. Third one is mountain bikes, road bikes, some product name. Fourth one is some product row ID. Let's say like product row ID, something like that. Some name, as because it is having some IDs. And the fifth column is some state, modified date or something like that. Modified date. Okay, so you can rename the columns as you want. Product 10th July. Click on OK. Just go for a mapping. Now give the mapping. You can give it from here as well. Pick the column and drop there. Take the column and drop here. Take the column and drop here. Drop and drop. Click on OK. Save it. Execute it. Okay. So likewise, you can load the data from a flat file source to destination. This might be a frequent requirement. Why? Because in some cases, like client will save his data in the flat files. Okay, client will save the data in some flat files. So in that case, like the source will be flat file and destination will be some database object. Okay, so in that case, you may need to load the data likewise. So nothing to worry over here. Just take the flat file component and then pick the file where it is existed exactly. Okay. So you will get the flat file component through mail or else the client may place that flat file in the particular server. As he also will get the, they also will have the access on that particular server, right? So most of the cases through what we call through emails, they will give you that flat files. Okay, they will attach the file in the mail and they will give you. So what you need to do is just download that file and use that one. Keep that in a safe location. Okay, give a proper name for that. Every time you may get the sources from the client. Okay, so create a folder with some date extension. Okay, so like you will come to know like this file we got on this particular day, something like that. Okay, for easy identification and for safer side, you need to keep a file, keep a folder with the date. extension, and then in that like you have to save the file. Okay, so when you are creating the flat file connection, we have to pick that a file from the right path. Okay, that means right folder. Okay, so likewise you need to take care of while using the flat files. Similarly, you can have you may have Excel as well, Excel sheets. Okay, so let us say let me remove Excel sheets. Open that. Let me remove. I'll take OLED source, and my destination is some Excel destination. Pick the Excel destination. Pick the Excel destination. Take the OLED source. Pick some table. Department table I am taking. Go to the columns. I will check this all these columns. Click on OK. Go to here and configure the OLED, Excel sheet destination. So as of now, we don't have any Excel connections. Just pick one Excel connection. Just take one Excel connection. See here it is asking for file path, Excel file path. Go to browse. So I will create one Excel file over here, and I will use that Microsoft Excel worksheet. I'll give the name as XLS. I will take this file, go to open. See in the Excel like we may have different sheets, right? So let me go back to the destination. The name itself it is taking like that. Let me go. Crafted. Browse. Which sheet you want to pick? Since the Excel will have three sheets, into which sheet like you want to load the data. Pick your sheet. Go to mappings. See, this is what the issue with the Excel sheets. Okay, so you need to be careful while working with Excel sheets. In the destination like three column, I mean in the source like we have four columns, right? So earlier what happened is while loading the data from table to table, it is automatically defining the number of columns. How many columns we are having in the source, that many number of columns it is defining in the source, I mean destination. Similarly for flat files also, while getting the data from source database to flat file destination, okay, if you don't have any flat file connection, it is picking the columns from the source itself and it is creating the columns in the flat file. But this is what the issue with the Excel sheet. So the number of columns it is not taking, so automatically it is giving one column as a default one like F1. So to avoid this, what you need to do is, before using the Excel sheet destination, you have to give the column names in the Excel sheet manually. How many columns? Four columns you are having. department ID, name, group name, modified date. Let's go back to the Excel path, open the department, give me the columns as DEPT, name, group name, and what is that? Modified date. Okay, so let me save this, close, go back to the connection manager. Let me pick the Excel sheet 1 again. So now you will get the columns. Okay, so that is what the issue while working with the Excel sheets. Okay, just give the group name, map the columns. Why? Because we just modified the column names as like that, right? So you need to give the mappings manually. Okay, so just save this, execute this. So that means you need to take care of Excel columns. Okay, so department, you will have some data like this. You will get the data like this. Okay, so that is what the one issue we are facing with the Excel sheets. Okay, so it's not the issue like the format like that we need to work with the Excel sheets. Okay, it's not the issue. It's just a kind of format. Okay, but for flat files or database tables, you are not required to give the column names manually at the time of insertion or else before creating the object itself. Okay, but for Excel sheets, like if you give the column, if you don't give the column names, by default it will try to generate one output as F1, and since we are having many columns in the source and it is giving only one suggestion, like only one column name in the destination, you have to create your own columns as per your requirement. Okay, so similarly Excel source, Excel source, let me open, remove these components. Okay, so instead of taking data flow task or else instead of creating the package again and again, I'm just using the existing thing. So I will take as Excel source one, okay, and I will take one OLDB destination. Open the Excel source. So in which connection you are having data, name of the sheet, sheet one, preview. Yes, this is what the sheet. Okay, like you can go for the preview, like to see what the data is having exactly. Okay, so just click on preview if you want to see the sample data. Columns, these are all the columns, and from Excel source to destination straight away you can give. Here take the database, go to new, as usual a similar thing. Okay, July 10th, click on OK, go to mappings, map all the columns, save this, execute this. Okay, so you will get the data into your destination. Go back and just refresh the database. Why? Because refreshing means, see, the table you have created just now and this SSMS you have been opened long back. So once you refresh the database, then the whatever the changes has been done from SSIS and read, so that will show effect here. So go to the tables and pick your table. What is that? Employee, Date Excel source. This is what our table name. So we got some table name wrong. Let me change this as department underscore. Similarly, I will change the thing in the package as well. Okay. So we already loaded the data, right? So nothing to worry. Just take the table name, execute our query. You got the data. Okay. So likewise, so going back and check the database every time is a like a safe side activity, or else in some cases like it is pretty much important. Why? Because I told you, right, so in earlier versions we have some issues with the SSIS components. Okay, so what they will show is, see, once you execute the package, once you execute the package, it is showing everything in green color, successfully executed, and even it is giving the row count as well. But in earlier versions, we saw like the packages will show in green color. That means executed successfully. And it will show some row count as well. 16 rows has been populated from source to destination. But when you go back and check in the database, the data won't be there in some cases. So that is what the issue. SSIS it is showing successfully executed, and backend it is showing no data. So that is what the issue with the SSIS packages in earlier, earlier versions like 2008, 8R2 also we have some, where we saw some issues. So for safer side, you should take care of querying in the backend and check the data whether we got the data or not. Okay, even you need to check the row count as well. 16 rows, it is showing 16 rows. Sometimes like you may need to cross check with the source. How many rows we are having in source and how many rows we got in destination. Okay, this is nothing but a validation kind of thing. Okay, how much data we are having in source and how much data we got in the destination. We got proper data or not. So everything you should go back and query on the database, okay, for the confirmation.
Sir, is it necessary to check this thing like you're talking about we need to check how many rows it got executed and how many rows it got loaded, right?
Yes, yes.
Why? Because I came to know that in earlier versions of SQL Server, like it doesn't have anything like any update on the tool regarding the point which you said right now.
Yes.
Like we have to check all the time how many rows we have executed and how many rows it got loaded into the destination. Why? Now it got updated and these current versions are good, right? So
Yeah,
still we have to check.
current versions. Yeah, yeah, current versions are good, but you may need to whatever the client may use still 2008 R2 or 2008. Okay, so for safer side, I'm giving
Okay.
the point. So whenever you are
Okay.
in project, like in some cases, 2008 R2 or 2008 or some previous versions, they might have been using. So in that case,
Okay.
like you have to take care of those things. Okay, so it,
Okay.
yeah, so it,
Yeah, I got it, sir.
yeah, latest versions like we may not repeat, but safer side we have to. Okay, so one precautionary thing that is actually.
Yeah, I got it, sir. Thank
Yeah,
you.
yeah. I'm stopping this. Save this package. So one more thing like you need to know about SSIS is whenever we were executing what you are doing some audit kind of information, right? When this package executed this kind of thing, and in some cases like you may not supposed to execute this package manually. Okay, so manual in the sense like opening the project from a particular path and double click on the solution, opening this package and executing the packages from here itself. This is all these kind of activities are manual activities. So maximum of the cases we may execute the package using some scheduler. Okay, SQL Server scheduler. What we do over there is we will schedule the package. Scheduling in the sense at what time it needs to run. What is the package that we have to run and at what time it should start. Okay, we will give all the details where this package where this package located, what is the package name in that particular location. In one particular location you may have many packages, so in that case, like, what is the package location. Okay, so once you give the package path and all, you have to specify the system, like at what time it should run. Is it daily, or else every Monday, every Tuesday, every Wednesday? It's nothing but the weekly ones, or else every week except Saturday and Sunday, or else if it is on Monday, then at what time it should start. If it is Tuesday, at what time it should start. So everything we will give the details like that. Okay, so at that particular moment, the package execution will start automatically, and it's done by the SQL Server agent. Okay, about agent we will talk about later about agent, but we will do the execution like without manual interaction. Okay, everything will be taken care by the system itself. So at that moment, like, we have to know whether the package is executed successfully or not. If the package is executed successfully, at what time it started, at what time it's completed, or else, some information about the package execution, which is nothing but logging the package details. Okay, so we should maintain some log about the package execution details. Okay, if any error comes out, what is the error? Okay, so where it got failed. So some kind of clue that we need to have about the package execution, since there is no manual interaction, and once you schedule the package, that package won't be open like this. Okay, system won't open the package like this, and it won't start the package execution like this. Automatically it will have the executable file inside of the scheduler, and it will execute that executable file automatically. It won't open any kind of windows like this. Okay, so to have that particular eye on a package execution, we will maintain some logging information. Okay, so how to maintain that particular log about the SQL packages. Okay, so let us say I'm having this particular package. Okay, so what I want to do is I want to have the log. I want to take the logging information, execution, started, ending, some information. So to have the log, what I will do is I will go for SSIS. Here SSIS, instead of that we are having a logging option. Click on the logging. There you can see one window. On the right side you can see the package name, load employee audit. Under that package, what are the tasks that is having? So under that package we are having only one data flow task, right? So it is showing one data flow task. So right side you can see the providers and logs and what are the details that you want to capture. Okay, so let me select this particular package. Once you select the package, here what are the different types of providers, what are the different types of options that you are having for logging the information. Okay, so here we have around 5 types of logging informations. Okay, so if you take the first one, SSIS log provider for test wise, that means like you are telling the system, like, I want to capture the log information into .txt file, that means text files. Okay, so once you select that provider, add to your space, just click on add, it will come over here. Once you add, select that particular provider and just configure in the sense you are telling the system you want to capture the information into text file. So give the text file path. Configuration in the sense, like, give the text file path. As of now, no, go for new connection. So I'll create one file. So create file, go to browse where I want to keep my file. So I want to keep my file in this particular location. Okay, so let me create a new file, text, fflog, select that, just click on OK, open and click on OK. Now you are using one flat file. So what are the details that you want to capture? Go to the details tab. These are the different details, okay, on error, on status change, or else any information, okay. And detail is nothing but detail is nothing but event is nothing but the detail, and it's about the some description about that particular event. So generally we will log if any error comes out, or else if any execution completed, or else start time, okay, or else once after completing the execution we will capture the information, okay. So before starting the execution, so whatever the detail you want, if you want to capture the details on progress, you can capture. So everything you can take it out, okay. If any error, go for select the error, okay, or else once after execution, just go for post execution. Before the execution, just pre execution, okay, something like that. Just click on OK, okay. So once you specify the log, just save that, execute the package. It's done. Go back and check your log file what it is captured. So it captured some information. The event name on pre-execute, that means before starting the execution, the status of the package, okay. So some user has been started from this particular system, from this particular user. This is what the package name and its ID, okay. See, source ID, execution ID, start time, end time, okay. Data code, database, some message if any error message, or else if any kind of message about the event. So beginning of the package execution, okay. After that, end of the package execution. So some information it is capturing, okay. So we have selected on error also, as because we didn't get any error, it is not captured any error details. Close this, stop the package, go to SSIS logging. The second option that we have is SSIS log provider for SQL Server. Okay, so that means if you want to capture all the details in the database, okay, as of now we are capturing in text file. Instead, you go for SQL Server, just add this, select that particular thing, and in which server you want to save the details. Okay, I want to save these details in this particular connection. Okay, select that particular connection. Click on OK. Save this, execute. It is executed successfully. Go back to your database. Okay, so this is what your database that you have selected, right? So instead of this database, we have one system defined data, system defined table, that SSIS log. Okay, so this table was defined by the system itself. Okay, so once you specify the SQL Server as your logging option, let me stop this. Once you specify the SQL Server as your log information, okay, SQL Server as your data file, then it is asking for the system. I mean, it is asking for the database. So every database will have this data, this table default by default. This is our system defined table. Instead of this, it will capture the all details about your logging. So select this. These are all different logging informations that we captured long back. So this is what the latest one. Okay, so these are the details that we have captured just now. Okay, so beginning of the package execution and till end of the package execution. Is there anything happen? Likewise, like you will come to know capturing the database detail. I mean, capturing the log information into your database. Okay, see, previously we got some errors, so that's why it is showing some error codes. Okay, so what the message is giving is, if you go for execution result, whatever the information is having, that particular information only it is giving. Okay, so even sometimes like you can see the error message over here, execution result. So but when you start executing the package in scheduler, it won't show the execution result in the this particular window. So whatever the execution result that it want to show, it will save in that particular log files. Okay, so let me go for the other option. Log SQL Server Profiler. Okay, so this will save the information in the profiler. Okay, let me show you the profiler. Profiler in the sense like it is also one kind of database where all the tracing will happen. Okay, so let me take a new connection. I will take one create file, browse. Here I will create one file. Okay, so this as ff trace file dot it will have extension as dot trc trace files. Okay, so if you are using SQL Server Profiler, this is the file dot trc trace files. Click on OK, save this and execute. Once it is done, go to your place. Or else let me create one thing. So it is not saving as trace file. Let me stop. Go to login. Trace dot check execution file. Else anything that we have already. SQL Server Profiler. Let me take this. Click on OK. See, that means which I mean you are not required to use all the logging options. Okay, so you can go for any of the logging option. What is the option that you should take is defined by the your architect or as per your client requirement only. Okay, they will tell you keep all the log files in a text file, or else please log all the information in the database. Okay, so like in maximum of the cases, we will go for text files only. Why? Because if you keep on saving the database, I mean, if you keep on saving all the information in the databases, okay, so the database file will keep on increasing. Okay, so if you forgot to clear the trace, I mean, what we call database table, okay, so it will keep on increasing. So if you forgot to clear that, so it may cause any kind of package execution failure due to lack of space. So instead of that, what they will do is they will have the file in the text files. Okay, they will have all the log information in the text files. Okay, and one more disadvantage is like if you using all these info, if you using SQL Server to save all the information. Okay, so again it is a burden to, it will become a burden to database. Okay, it is rewriting the data into the database, and again it is using the system tables, and it is writing the data into system tables. Okay, so it will become a burden to database. Let me stop this. Trace files. Open this. So this is what the trace that it is having username, event class, some event class in the sense like event name, whatever the events that you have selected, and who is the operator. Okay, operator in the sense from which system or else from which user. Okay, what is the source. Okay, and what is the source id and execution id, some start time. Okay, when it's been completed. Okay, text data in the sense description about the event, its status. Okay, it's starting the beginning of the execution package or else ending of the package execution. Okay, something like that. Go back to the logging. Okay, there you can see the Windows event log. One more thing, Windows event log is nothing but saving all your files in the system itself. Okay, even you won't go for this as well. Why? Because Windows event log in the sense operating system space. Okay, as operating system Windows itself will maintain its event log. That means in the operating system we may have in your system, like we may have many applications that's been executing parallelly. Okay, SSIS is executing, some Mozilla is executing. Okay, and some GoToMeeting is executing, Notepad is executing, some task manager is executing. So whatever the application you are using, manually or directly or indirectly, okay, all that particular information will be saved in the Windows event log. But you define again SSIS log information also in the event log, again it will eat up some memory. Okay, and it will start interacting with the operating system to log all your information, which will slow down the process. Okay, so that's why in maximum of the cases we won't go for this Windows event log. Okay, so just select that Windows event log and save this, execute. Success. In view event logs, so it will have all the events. Okay, go to Windows logs, applications, at 10 o'clock, 9 o'clock, what happened. See, this is what the source, from this particular source something is happening. Okay, so but it won't capture some detailed information as we saw, like in text files or SQL server or something like that. Okay, so if any error comes, then you can see some error, something login failure. This was earlier one. Okay, if any error comes out, so some error was this. Okay, go to the details. There you can see some information. Okay, some system data, what is happening, some date bytes, something like that. But it is not more clear. Okay, so that's why we won't go for Windows or something like that. But the most of the cases we use only text files. Okay, so whenever the text file is what we call text file is occupying more memory, then we go for deleting the data from the text file. Okay, sometimes like you may not have permissions on SQL server, whatever you are executing. Okay, so in that case, like you are not supposed to delete the data from that particular table. Okay, so for that purpose, like we'll go for text files. SSIS, go to logging. And the fifth and final option is XML options, XML files. So XML files are nothing but saving the data similar to the text files, but the file extension is .xml. That's it. New connection, create the file, go to browse. click on OK, click on OK, save this. So XML in sense like it will display the data in some XML format. Okay, so some taggings and all it will have. Let me open in Notepad itself. You can see the XML tags. See, likewise. Okay, some message, beginning of the package execution, some message. Okay, and execution ID, end time. Okay, some XML information, XML files. But when you see what is the easiest way to log the information and what is the easiest way to understand is the text files only. Okay, so it will it will have some clear cut understanding. Okay, it will give the some clear cut understanding whatever the events that we have captured, right? So it will have all the information. Okay, so every time how many times we have executed, that many times it's keep on appending the data. Okay, so this log information, this is nothing but the log information. Okay, so likewise you can capture any data like about your package execution details. Okay, so like to work with that, like you can work, you can select any of the option. Once you select the option, based on that, like you need to go for the configuration. Once you select the configuration, go for the details and whatever the event that you want to capture. But unnecessary you won't go for the other events. Why? Because keep on adding the information, which is no use of capturing the log. Why? Because in real time what are the most important things, or else what are the things that you need to concentrate is on error. Okay, on error, maximum of the cases you go for on error, or else post execute. Why? Because when this package started, I mean pre execute, when this package started, when this package execution completed. Okay, so likewise we will go for the logging. So if you want to capture all the information, all the other events like which are having a different functionalities, like it will keep on increasing the log unnecessarily. So having that log, you don't have any use. Okay, for SSIs, like we don't have any use for SSIs developer end of the day. So for that purpose, like whatever the events, most of the cases we use is on error, post execute, pre execute. On progress also, like you can take that, or else pre validate in a sense before executing the package, system will start validating the package. Okay, so once after creating the packages, you might have changed some activities. Let us say here what I did, whenever I mean like I have changed the table name. If you remember, I have changed the table name for Excel thing. Okay, so at the time of package creation, I have some table name. Excel source, where it is? Yeah. When I'm creating this package, the source name, the table name is something wrong over here. Okay, some with some wrong identification I have specified over here, and then table was created with the same expression. Okay, with the same identification. But after some point of time, I go back and checked in the database. So which is a wrong representation for the table, and I have changed the table name over here. But it was not reflected. Okay, in the SSIS it was not reflected. But what I did, I go back to the SSIS package manually and change the table name manually. But if I don't change the table name, what will happen when I start executing the package? The system will fail. I mean, the package will fail. Fail in the sense it won't start the package, but before starting the execution of the package, it will start analyzing the whether all the connections are properly configured or not. If you specify any database object, whether that particular database is existed or not. Okay, so it's nothing but the validation, package validation. First it will validate all the connections and all the table specifications and all the column specifications. Once everything is fine, it will start loading it will start picking the data from source to destination. Okay, so that is nothing but the runtime errors. Okay, while loading the data, we will get some errors which are nothing but the runtime errors. Before start execution, it will start validating the package, where it will take care of the package configurations and database object configurations and column mappings and everything. Okay, so if you want to capture those details, you can capture those details as well. Okay, so likewise, like we have many options over there, but the thing is like take care of specifying the options. What happened? Specifying the options whichever you need, basically instead of selecting all other information, whatever you require, just select only those things and capture the information. Okay, so that is what about maintaining the log information in SQL Server for SSIS.